Oh yeah, it's going to be a massive package from China. And a very strange looking one. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. In today's video, it's time for a very interesting arcade stick I recently bought. This is the one from One More Arcade. It's a company in China that makes these, like say, all kinds of arcade stuff, including even some full-size arcade machines. But I've picked up this two-player Pandora's box from them. And the reason why, because it's just another level when it comes to the overall quality. So One More Arcade makes these very unique mainboards you don't find always on AliExpress. This is comparable or kind of comparable with the Pandora's Box 10 in some ways. We do have a 6-button layout, some of the Pandora's boxes have 8 button, but when you're looking at the overall quality of the joystick, this is also something different. So where the joystick is good quality, that also implements for the buttons. They are very nice. They are long travel, but not like the cheap feel that we have seen before. Including a very cool looking trackball, more like a mini trackball. It's absolutely awesome, but the, let's say, resistance, it's not the best I have seen. So with the Pandora's box you can play thousands of different games. It's more like an HDMI let's say, solution if you just want to have like a basic thing and not like a full arcade machine. But the overall quality of the case is absolutely great. That also implements for the bottom part over here that is fully made out of metal. At the back we're finding all of the connections, the on and off switch over here, an HDMI, VGA out, so if you have like an old school monitor 4x3 you can even use that. Volume control for the main board. This is the settings button for getting you into the settings, and the 2 ports that we can even use. Here you can already see one for connecting to the PC and another one for connecting an extra controller. Okay, so with the Pandora's box we're getting a special 12 volt. This is a 60 watt, in other words 5 amps. And the overall quality of this power supply is so much superior when it comes to the feel and the way how it looks. Take consideration when you're going to be ordering this, you need to get yourself the right cable. It's not an, let's say, a special cable, just your typical 3 pins. But when you're ordering it, then you're going to get yourself the right set. But what is kind of cool and an extra, something I don't see very often, that it comes with some very cool light up features, including some RGB in the joysticks. Particularly when looking at the RGB in the joystick, that is something, actually the first time that I've ever seen it before. I think a very long time ago I had like one with an LED, only a single color, but not this. There's no way of changing it out so far I know, but later on we're going to be doing a teardown. So when you're going to be connecting this to a monitor, in front of this, in this video, it's going to be a 24 inch. And you can get yourself a bigger display, let's say maybe 26 inch. That would be like a very nice fit. And you do have like a little bit of an arcade feeling going on over here. Okay, what is kind of cool is that this thing comes with a built-in speaker. That is very convenient because a lot of monitors nowadays don't have a speaker at all, or they are like very low quality and they don't sound great. But with the Pandora's boxes, it comes with a built-in, let's say, speaker, so it's very convenient. So you can plug in every kind of monitor or TV that you want to. But when you're looking at the main menu, it is similar to the Pandora Key 7, having a 3-dimensional and 2-dimensional list. But it makes no sense whatsoever, because the 3-dimensional games also have 2-dimensional games. What they're trying to say actually is that we're having, like say, the modern games and the retro games. So the 3D, you think about, I think it was PlayStation 1 and 64, Sega Dreamcast and PlayStation Portable. That we will find in the first list. Pressing start will give you the option to search in category. Here you can just see the PlayStation Famicom and all the different systems that is compatible with this mainboard. Over here, what is convenient, you have the trackball over here. When you're pressing this, it will give you all of the games that will have a trackball support. The same goes for the light gun later on. This model doesn't support it, but the later models will. 4-player, when you're going to be configuring it with 2 extra controllers. We're having racing, sport, action, puzzle and shooting. So we can also search for the games. One of the things very positive, that the menu works very fast. It searches very fast. Oh, accidentally putting in the wrong name. But here we go. Let's say we're going to be searching for Sonic, getting into the Sonic list, and in here we're finding all of the Sonic games. So that's actually how it works when you want to play the Sonic games. You can just go through the menu over here at the left, and here we will find all of the different games. So far I can see there is no like indication what kind of platform you're actually using, so that's absolutely a big bummer. Okay, so the trackball looks absolutely amazing with this beautiful LED that is fading in and fading out. So I'm curious how this will play. Another thing is what they messed up is like the ring is not perfectly fitted and you do have an edge over here. And I can tell you this is quite sharp. Not to the point you will hurt your fingers, but if you're going to be messing around with the trackball, it's highly possible you're going to be like slicing your finger through here. So it's not the best configuration, and also it has way too much, let's say, resistance. A ball need to be rolling like a ball do. But how about the settings menu? Already mentioned before, there is this tiny button at the back, and here we're finding all of the system settings. We're finding the key settings. In here we can change out all kinds of key testing definitions. So let's say we're doing the testing. Here you can test out for every single joystick. When having a 2-player configuration, that will be the only thing that will work out. Pressing start and A will bring you back, and that's actually how it all works. Yeah, so when you're looking at the way how this works, there's a lot of, let's say, configuration possible, but we don't have aspect ratio. I'm hoping in the future they will implement this too. The graphics mode says close and open, you know. There's that weird filter going on, and I don't understand why they just name it as it is. There is no, like say, other options on there. Game settings. Over here I can even like edit the game list, so if you want to remove games from the list or hide them, you can just actually do it over here. So when I just press the wrong button, you can see I'm hiding all of them. Pressing C will showcase them all. That's actually how it works. It's kind of genius if you don't want to put a couple of games on there, or you just want to like remove the games that don't work. You're not actually removing it or hiding it actually. Alright, so let's check out the LE Master game. Putting in a coin over here, pressing the button and pressing start by pressing player number 1. You need to put in your details. You can just see that it does work with the joystick, but not like it's supposed to be. So in here we can just mess around. So let's check out if we can put in the name. How does it actually work? Okay, so up and down works, left and right does work, but it works kind of clunky. So let's put in a date and all the shenanigans and just see what happens. Alright, there we go. The navigation arrow over there seems to be working fine. I'm guessing that I need to set the character to a certain position. Man, such a weird thing. Yeah, I completely messed that one up. At the right side we're finding the pause button. When you're going to be pressing that one, you're going to have like the special menu that will give you the menu, or the special menu going back through the main menu. Just basically quitting the game, save, load, and that's one of the ways to go to. There's a simple menu, nothing fancy, but seems to be working just fine. Okay, so let's move on to some other games, and yep, I must say that the sensitivity on this thing is absolutely amazing. You can see that it is responsive. You cannot change it out, so if you don't like it, you're just stuck with it. But you can see that even with the resistance of the trackball, I think this is the first actually device that I've reviewed with a trackball that is actually plug and play and works like a charm. We're always like fighting with these things, that the sensitivity is not right, but this is absolutely great. Again, you see that if you want to do it quickly, also that is responsive. So I can just enjoy the game how it should be. So that's absolutely a big, very positive thing about the joystick itself. Come on, here we go, here we go. Yeah, oh yeah. Another thing I just wanted to check out, this is a light gun game. So what you're actually going to be doing is using the trackball as the way you want to play it. Okay, that is the most weirdest sound I've ever heard of. What the heck? You do have 2 crosshairs, so that's kind of messed up. So when it comes to that, it's a little bit of a downside. Oh, there we go. They've been joined together. It's very sensitive, so you don't need to scroll very fast to this. It's kind of funny, to be honest. It's something different than having a light gun. Would be cool to check it out. Oh, how can I reload? How can I reload? Oh, there we go. So it's absolutely a fun way to play the game and just to see. But you need to use the side of the screen to actually reload, so that's kind of annoying. Normally with a light gun it's going to be so much easier. Oh, that wasn't... Oh, we got a different gun now. Okay, but it's absolutely a fun way to play. But you can only play it with 1 player, of course, by also having 1 trackball in the machine itself. Another perfect test is going to be this Marble Madness. It's a classic game, very difficult one, but if the trackball has been configured correctly, this is going to be a lot of fun. There we go. This is just the practice stage. I do miss the feedback in a little bit of this. And I mean, not like a vibration feedback, but the way how it normally like rolls in the housing because of the resistance. It's not the perfect game to play. But it is quite easy. So when it comes to Marble Madness, yeah, it seems to be playable. I've been playing that like very expensive, let's say, different trackballs. Because you do have the sensitivity and also the size and the resistance. You don't need to scroll very hard to actually get something going on. Okay, there we go, there we go. No, 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 no. Oh, crap. Alright, so let's see what happens when we're going to try a different bowling game. Okay, so we can navigate through there. Hi! Oh yeah, the first strike. Okay, let's see. That's a lot of fun. There we go. Come on, there we go, there we go. Okay, that move's kind of weird. Okay. I'm afraid I'm cutting my fingers on this thing. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah. Okay, so that seems to be working just fine. And I can tell you, it's a lot of fun. Come on, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, ba. Okay, there's one that's completely wrong. Yep. Okie dokie. So let's take a close look at some other games, including the PlayStation Portable. So the one thing I'm really curious, does this have the same feature like all the other Pandora boxes that we can play with 2 players? That's what we're going to be finding out. Normally when you're getting into this menu, need to press no. No, 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 no. They completely like messed that part up. That is something of a special feature of some of the Pandora's boxes. But here you can see I'm just player 1. And what they actually did with the software, they mapped both of, let's say, the player 1 and player 2, the player 1. Yeah, it's absolutely, it's a little bit of a downside to this. So there's no 2-player configuration done like the other Pandora's boxes. That would be so cool to play. So. So let's see, how does it actually work? There are long travel buttons, so they're not my favorite for playing these games. The buttons have been mapped very strangely, like always. Like normally with PlayStation 1 I will use A, B, D and E, but they completely mapped it with A, B, C, D. So you know I have this weird situation going on. Oh, man, getting used to it. So these things are completely on the powerful PlayStation Portable, but it seems to be that they configured it this way with maybe some frame skipping, that it seems to be working fine. Because with pressing pause, we're getting just the main menu. There's nothing we can do with the SSPP emulator on the back. And I don't see the wiggly feet, so I don't know what kind of PlayStation Portable emulator you're using. But I'm guessing it's not the oldest one. Okay, so let's move on to some other games and see how they work out. Let's play Shmup on the PlayStation Portable emulator, and I can already see on the loading that this thing is running on normal resolution, so it doesn't look that great. But doesn't matter, let's get into the gameplay and let's see how this actually runs. Normally the 2-dimensional games are less demanding. I really love the joystick. I love this clicky joystick. But the thing is, absolutely great overall performance. I did notice a minor hiccup before even recording, which, let's say, getting into the title screen, but besides that, seems to be working just fine. And there are quite a lot of games that we can actually enjoy on this. Overall performance is absolutely great. There we go. Such a cool game. But you can also find the most wicked games that run without any problem whatsoever. Man, this is absolutely one of my favorite games to play. I've been playing this on iPad and all kinds of different systems. But this runs perfectly without any problem whatsoever. Oh yeah. There we go. Woo! The badass hug. Moving on to some Sega Dreamcast, or actually the arcade part, called the Sega Naomi. And the emulation performance seems to be running just fine. The loading times are quite fast. It still runs on native resolution, and the reason I'm saying that because these boxes cannot handle more than that. Because on mini PCs now we can just upscale it to 1080p and some of them even 4K, where they look absolutely amazing. But so far, good emulation, no problem whatsoever. Alright, so let's move on to some Sega Dreamcasts. And so far so good, the overall performance, it's quite nice. Unfortunate, it is widescreen, like stretched out. This is also the Sega Naomi version, we can see of the credits. Pause menu seems to be working fine. And here we're having 2 players. Can we activate the 2 players? And there we go. Everything seems to be working just fine. And we do have some overall good performance when it comes to the emulation here too. I'm just going to try the random game. Let's try some Diddy Kong Player 2. Yep, that works just fine. Alright, that's absolutely great. So that part seems to be working just fine. It's kind of cool. They can actually just enjoy these old school games with the 2-player configuration. And let's see how the split screen is going to be working. It's not the way I want to see. I think I cannot like change that part out. But so far so good. I really need to get used to the controls. I do hear some minor hiccup, but the overall performance, I'm just really surprised by this. So moving on to the N64, that is always like one of those problematic systems, but it seems to be with these low power chips, we're having so much better overall performance here too. We're not a lot of glitching going on. We cannot really actually see what kind of emulator is running on the back end, but it is absolutely native resolution and of course the widescreen situation. So that seems to be working fine. Pausing, we'll make us a quick save. Let's for fun just do that. Okay, it says like slot 1. What happens if you're going to be using save again? It just uses 1 slot. Okay, let's go to load, and it works very well. So when starting up the game, there was already a save implemented, so that means that the emulator will save your progress, so that's kind of cool. Next up, let's see what we're getting when it comes to the performance, because this is more of the more demanding games. I did notice the list has been filled, there was no GoldenEye, the more demanding games has been removed. Think about Cruisin' USA, okay. But so far so good. The overall performance seems to be working nice. Let's crank on the volume. There we go. What the heck is going on? Where are all the buildings? Oh, there we have. Alright, so when you're going to be booting up the PlayStation part, it will automatically get into the game, skips everything. And the one thing I'm very curious, do they implement the music? No, they removed it. So that is one of the major problems with these PlayStation games. Don't know why they keep doing that. They should absolutely stop, let's say, removing the soundtracks. But this seems to be working just fine, and the overall emulation of PlayStation, that's just fine. But if you're going to be looking into the 16-bit era, everything runs just perfectly. We have the 16:9 aspect ratio where we cannot change it out also here. Same menu that I've seen with all the other systems. So far it's kind of cool, everything seems to be working just fine, also when it comes to the 2-play configuration. The button configuration of these things are so weird. Oh, there we go. So it's actually B that we need to like use for the A. Yeah, so that's completely messed up. But so far, no problem whatsoever. No weird audio glitching or whatsoever. Nope. Did see that weird glitching going on sometimes? with getting something of a, let's say, power up, but besides that, also this runs really solid. And again, like having a 2-player configuration stick makes no sense because Game Boy Advance is only working in single player mode. Moving into some Neo Geo, all of these games run perfectly on this, so no problem whatsoever, and I think it's absolutely just a fun to play these old school games. No audio input delay. There we go. I'm making it impossible for myself. Okay, so if you want to play some old school games, it is no problem whatsoever. I've noticed a lot of Pandora's boxes had a lot of struggles. This thing is not perfect in many different ways, but the overall performance so far we have seen, it's absolutely great. Where they removed most of the N64 games so far I have seen, which that had problems because of the compatibility of these low power chips they're using inside of these machines. But the overall performance, I can just enjoy myself some 8-bit and 6-bit games without any problem whatsoever. So one of the very cool things is that we have an absolutely amazing joystick and button configuration. So we can do all the moves without any problem whatsoever. Yeah! Okay, so let's open it up. So what you need to do is removing the 2 screws at the front. And if everything is okay, we can just flip it open. And I must say that one of the Pandora's boxes I've seen in the past was absolutely like an horrendous construction where we need to remove the screws and had like a lot of shenanigans opening it up. But this is going to be easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But another thing I'm just really curious about is like how everything looks in the inside, because we do have some configurations that we didn't see before with different Pandora's boxes. So this is something different. I mean, when you're looking at all of the connections, where some, let's say, main cabling is the same like every single Pandora's box, you do have the option to change out the octogate. And I think that is very cool. So if you want to play in different configuration, think about, let's say, the Pac-Man and so, this is possible with this joystick. And this is cool, because this is the first time I've actually seen it in, let's say, all of the Pandora's boxes that I've reviewed. The buttons can be changed out super easily because they are using the screw configuration. So if you want to change them out to different configuration, but let's say in different brand, you can just do that fairly easy. We have 2 sets of wires. One is going to be for the connection, let's say for the input to the main board, and the other one's going to be for, let's say, powering on the LEDs. So if you want to switch it out with different light up buttons, you can do that. You can just plug them out and you just have no light up button anymore. Alright, so let's do a chit chat about the main board itself. So the overall configuration is almost the same like all the other Pandora's boxes that I've seen before when it comes to this cable harness, or the cable 3 you want to call it. So this is the same, so for upgradability that is not going to be a problem whatsoever. Okay, so when it comes to the, let's say, the looks of the fan, it seems to be, it's just exactly the same one, even the same brand, only this one stage 12 volt. So there was nothing different on here. And yeah, also the capacitors, everything, connections, only they removed this particular one. That was for a ribbon cable, where I have no idea where it's for. We have on top the connector we didn't talk about, and this, so far I understand, this is where you're going to be plug this thing into, like a Pandora's box portable, or like a device I've reviewed here on the channel. So configuration wise, it seems to be the same situation. Let's remove the pin. And that's one of the cool things, you can always upgrade, replace the fan if this thing gets broken. Okay, so let's see if they also implemented the stacking of different, no, they didn't stack it up this time. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, let's be very gentle, but there wasn't different quality of thermal pads. Oh man, there's that thermal pad stuff that, oh boy. Also here we're having the Rockchip 3288C over there. So this is actually differences between them, so they also changed out the chip with the new version. That is really interesting. Okay, so let's put everything back together and let's chit chat about the final conclusion. Okay, so what can be a problem in the future is that if you want to use the trackball, you need to have like a mainboard that is capable of using this connector. This is unique to the One More Arcade Pandora's box. And we're having like just a normal speaker, and all the other ones like the on and off switch. This is nothing special, but if you're going to be upgrading and you don't have this connection, you cannot use the trackball anymore. So however, when it comes to the trackball, it uses this particular connection. Yeah, I didn't see before, so I don't know if you can replace this with a different, let's say, trackball and premium brand. So it has the same connection, you can just swap it out and just upgrade it. But beside that, the overall quality, I must say that everything seems to be looking just fine. I'm very pleased with how everything looks and how it works, including the active cooling fan. Where a lot of Pandora's books have just a passive fan, this still uses an active, and this thing is not very loud at all. Here we will find the micro SD card, and maybe in the future we'll find some upgrades with the Pandora software. However, when you're looking at the main board, it's, let's say, out of the box, not bad at all. And I'm very pleased with the overall performance when it comes to everything else. And let's take a close look at the upgraded models in the future to see how it is with light gun feature and all the other things. The conclusion is that this thing is absolutely a huge surprise when it comes to the overall performance and what it is capable of. The trackball is a very cool addition, beautiful RGB joysticks and buttons, and the quality, I'm just surprised by it. Changing out the octagate is a possibility, and I'm very pleased with this model itself. Where the Pandora's Book 10 and many models in the future will come out and having different configurations. Will this thing be in good competition? That is something we need to see in the future. For now, I want to thank you all for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, and it would be great to see you in the next video.